You got it wrong. Alzheimer's and dementia aren't what you think they are. If you've ever watched someone you love go through these diseases and you don't want it to happen to you, this video is for you. One of the most painful experiences of my life has been watching multiple people I love go through this disease. It's brutal, and I would not wish it on my worst enemy. But it's not the law. You don't have to get it just because you get old. There is something you can do, or there's some things you can do right to make sure you don't end up with Alzheimer's. So these are the 6 main failures that lead to Alzheimer's and dementia, and they're not symptoms. They're the main drivers of the disease. Number 1, brain insulin resistance. So your brain mostly uses glucose for energy, and insulin drives glucose into muscle and brain cells. Insulin resistance in the brain means that the brain cells are no longer responding well to insulin, which gets released after you eat a meal. And then the idea of that is to drive the nutrients glucose into those cells to be used for energy. It's basically like the insulin's knocking on the door of the cell, but no one's answering. And this segues or drives straight into the next one, which is mitochondrial dysfunction. So you might have heard of like mitochondria as like the powerhouse of the cell, which they are in a sense, but there's so much more than that. It's like you might have thought of like, or might think of the mitochondria as like the battery of your phone, and like to a certain extent they are, but they're also like the CPU. So it's like when you press your phone, the CPU tells the phone what to do when you press that button. And it's like calling someone up or opening Instagram, for example. Mitochondrial dysfunction means that when you do get glucose into that cell, you can't produce as much energy with it. And that means like also that the signal the brain wants to send isn't working properly either. So it's like pressing the button on your phone and nothing happens, or pressing the Instagram app to open it and it takes 45 seconds instead of just opening instantly. And number 3 is glucose hypometabolism. So when the glucose does get in your cell, the brain can't metabolize it and break it down for use. Think about this as like when you're charging your phone, like the electricity might be getting to the phone, but the phone can't use it to charge. So it's like the electricity's going in, but the phone battery's not going up. This leads to the brain cells not functioning the way you want them to, and it exacerbates or makes the other 2 problems much worse. Number 4, and like is a direct result of the first 3, is neuroinflammation. So like your brain is chronically inflamed. It's not like when you sprain your ankle. So like in normal circumstances, you get a short period of like inflammation, and that drives nutrients to the ankle to repair, but you can't walk properly, so you rest and then it repairs, the inflammation goes away. What if the inflammation never went away? So like this causes damage and makes the first 3 even worse. It's like a vicious cycle, but we're not done yet. As pretty much a result of number 4, number 5 is made worse, and it's like the blood-brain barrier breaking. So the blood-brain barrier, as the name suggests, is the barrier that keeps out toxins, viruses, bacteria from your brain. Your brain's like really delicate hardware. Do not want things getting in there that shouldn't be there. And so when the barrier breaks down, these things do get in, it causes absolute havoc. And as you might have guessed, it makes the first 4 things dramatically worse. Lastly, vascular dysfunction. So vascular is like your blood vessels, basically. So this is basically when the charging cable on your phone is not working. And so you can't get the nutrients that you need to your brain, which makes all of the process so much harder. And so you can see these aren't silos, they're all working together to cause or drive these diseases. And if you're really clued in, you'll realise that these 6 things are also the leading causes or drivers of things like diabetes, heart disease, strokes, cancer. And this is basically the problem of modern lifestyle. We've got a bunch of convenience and comfort, but it comes with a lot of stresses like metabolic disorder. So far it's been pretty bloody depressing, but it's not all depressing, right? So like we don't all eventually have to get these diseases. Here's the step-by-step playbook, how exercise addresses all of these failures. We solve brain insulin resistance problem in the same way that we address diabetes with exercise. So strength training, like lifting weights, and moderate to high intensity interval work to improve insulin signaling so that the glucose actually gets into your brain cells to be used for like energy, support, growth, repair. And you can see how this is going to address some of the other failures too. It also promotes BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Another one. Basically, it's like CSOL or miracle growth for your brain. It strengthens the neurons and helps brain plasticity. It's like, yes, even as you age, you can support brain plasticity and keep your brain plastic. It also supports like resilience to stress, pretty key, and learning and memory, all the things that generally get harder as you age. These can be mitigated with strength and fitness training. Mitochondrial dysfunction is like probably my favorite problem to fix. It's something that I've really been fixing over the last year because it gives you more energy, and with more energy comes motivation, discipline, and willpower. Like, so many people come to me and go, I'm just not motivated enough. I just haven't have the discipline. It's like, if I 10 times your energy, would you then have the motivation and discipline? Yes, you need the energy base in order to have those things. They can't go one without the other. You can see, like, this is like the virtuous cycle. The more you do these things, the easier it gets to solve the failures. So strength training, and the beautiful thing about this is, like, different forms of exercise improve your mitochondria in different ways, and they all work together. So strength training increases the quality of the mitochondria and the efficiency of the signaling. High intensity exercise increases mitochondrial biogenesis, which is basically just making more mitochondria, or making new mitochondria. And so if you're combining this with strength training, you're getting new but also better quality mitochondria. And then you've got like the zone 2, like low intensity exercise, like running, swimming, cycling, like even some fast walking. That increases the density of the mitochondria. So you're having like more mitochondria to produce more power plants, basically, to produce more energy. And so if you're also increasing the quality and increasing the rate at which you produce new mitochondria, it's just like potentiating each other or making each other better. It's not like 1 + 1 = 2. It's more like 1 + 1 = I don't know. And the three work together to absolutely blast your energy through the roof. This, in and of itself, can completely transform your life. Like, imagine if you did have 10 times the energy, how much easier, how much better would life be as a result of that? But we're not done. So glucose hypometabolism, so exercise and in particular fitness work, increases glucose uptake in the brain, improves metabolic flexibility, so your brain can use more fuel sources like lactate, which is produced during exercise, and ketones. And it improves your brain's ability to convert these sources of energy, so they aren't just like increasing the battery charge, you're also improving the battery itself. And then strength and fitness, it drives down chronic inflammations, like globally around the body, inflammation gets hosed down, and that drives up the repair signals, which gives your body a chance to repair itself. So it's like the firefighting crew coming in to fight the fire so that the SES can come in and do the structural repair. Then the blood-brain barrier, so like how this fixes, like the junctions and the barriers are strengthened, so like reduced permeability, so less things are getting through, and improved endothelial functions. So endothelial is like the lining of your blood vessels, basically, and the brain barrier. So your brain is better protected from like toxins and viruses, and like in today's environment, that's critical. Like, you've heard of microplastics, right? Maybe we can't stop all of them right now. Like, if your blood-brain barrier is damaged or isn't working properly, it's like there's a blown water main, like toxins just flooding in. If we can repair that, then we turn that from like full flood to like a dripping tap, like a slowly dripping tap, and like that's going to make a dramatic difference. And vascular dysfunction is just absolutely smashed by exercise. So strength training helps modulate your blood pressure. So, like, little tip, if you've got high blood pressure, especially if you're medicated for this, then strength training is a must. And interval training improves the endothelial lining of your like blood vessels, so they're more resilient to stress. And this is the body's best playbook for reducing the risk of Alzheimer's and dementia. Like, you need to put this system together in a way that hits all of the angles, because these failures and these fixes aren't in silos. You can see how they all interact with each other. It's either like a vicious cycle or a virtuous cycle. And this is why, like, we program the way we do here. We don't just randomly plug exercises into our sessions. It's not like a ChatGPT, like, give me a session, right? It's like we systematically cultivate programs that fight each of these factors. It's science. It's effective. And like, it fights the modern crisis of aging. And it's why we preach like the core 4. So like strength training minimum twice a week, moving every day, eating enough protein and vegetables to fuel your energy. It's a simple system. Like, for you, it's really simple. You come in and just do the work, right? But it has to be systematic. It has to be well thought out. If this speaks to you, comment aging below, and I'll tell you how we can help and make sure you're protecting yourself against cognitive, so that you don't end up with these terrible diseases.